In this video, you get to join me for my first time winning an FIA race. Welcome to the channel. This is Geauxgreddy, your 2018-2019 SCCA Senla Region F Street Autocross Champion and Gran Turismo Sport Sim Racer. And we are at Lago Maggiore GP, and here you see our pole sitter ERT Rocket Man 53. I am in second. That's me right there. Geauxgreddy. That's right, not far off the lead. Captain Awful in third. We're in the Group 3 cars today, folks. In fourth, Swerve Master Swivel. Some close qualifying went on today. In fifth, Job and some numbers. That's right. In sixth, Galacticus 14 in the Porsche 911. In seventh, Big Swing in Texas, our 12th ranked driver in the lobby. Eighth, Kelso in the M6. In ninth, Gumbro in the Porsche 911. And Hypersonic in 10th, 5th ranked driver in the lobby in the NSX. Demonic Child Inc. in 9th in the GTR, the ever so fast GTR. Another Lexus, Jojo Lee Letius, and the RCF GT3. I'm Slow comes in at 13th. 14th, Bad Coal Boys. Good to see you again, sir. And in 15th, Tamamo SE3P in the R8. Gonna be rough on the tires. In 16th, DA 1976 in his M3 GT streaming live. In 17th, High Ore 10 Texas. In 18th, Westboy 94 in the Benz, the AMG GT3. In 19th, MGCF 16410 in the 4GT LM spec. And in 20th, Castor Pollux. All right, folks, so let's get this race started. As I sit here at the starting line, just trying to burn some fuel. I don't know if that actually works or not. I've been told that it does, but I honestly have no idea if it actually works. So try it if you want. You know, if you want to try and lighten the car a little bit beforehand. So we take off here, and again, my goal, not to kill ERT Rocket Man in corner one. So I slam on the brakes just before the 50 board, stay out of his rear end. And Captain Awful manages to do the same for me. And it appears that Swerve Master Swivel also did a good job of getting through corner one. Not exactly sure what happened in the back of the pack, but seems like everyone made it through corner one okay. So right about now, all I want to do in P2 is get on the rear end of that Lexus and let him haul me around this track. Tire wear, very important here. I'm on the racing mediums in front, racing softs in rear. Did some practice with REVOnut and DJClean, and we put in a few laps, and I found that this was the best tire wear setup for me for the start of the race, the weight of the car. For whatever reason, it lasted 5 laps. It seemed to be able to hold pace with folks on soft tires, but didn't wear out as quickly as the soft tire setup. So I'm on a brake balance 3 to the rear, and right here, sitting on the backside of our pole sitter, ERT Rocket Man, as I take that really shallow inside line, he takes it through there a little wider, and I make a run on him. As I'm coming around the outside, I'm not really sure if I want to make this pass, but I'm going to go for it here. As I come through this corner, I realize it's not going to work, so I back off a little bit. Once again, make a good life choice and pull out early, folks. I could have pressed it through those corners, but you know, this is lap 1. We've got 9 laps to go. My pace is right there with Rocket Man, so I feel like I can stay with him. You know, I want to stay with him through the pit stop. It was really just a split-second decision right there in that corner. I said, no, I'm not going to kill us both here. I'm pulling out. So Rocket Man stayed in it, and luckily for me, Captain Awful had just enough space between him and Rocket Man that I could slip back in between the two. So good, clean racing by Rocket Man. Good, clean racing by Captain Awful. He's not as awful as his name sounds, folks. I'm telling you. He was wheeling that vet tonight, that's for sure. So anyway, He is all over my rear end right now, Captain Awful that is, in that Corvette. and I am trying not to focus on him at all, except when I'm like a few moments ago when I tried to slip back in. I looked at my radar, made sure I had enough room before I popped back in to the left there, or I was going to have to stay to the inside. He probably would have taken that position from me, but that didn't happen. I got back in there. I'm trying to get back into Rocket Man's slipstream right here. I'm probably about 6 or so tenths behind him right here. Captain Awful, roughly the same behind me as we head up the hill towards the drop off and the extreme banked hairpin, which this is one of my favorite corners in the entire game. I love the traction. I love dropping the throttle, slinging it in tight, and then slamming on that throttle, and you just come flying out the other side. It's so rewarding when you do it right. I didn't do it perfect there, but I mean, I just like that corner. I don't know why. I just like it. But ERT Rocket Man getting the dirt a little bit there as we head into this double apex turn. So I get in on the inside. I'm noticing that Rocket Man is running wide through this corner. Not sure if that was just the way he liked to run that course, or if he was feeling a little pressure through there or not, running a little deep. I wasn't planning on doing any diving bombing on the Rocket Man, but you know, he doesn't know that. He doesn't know me. He doesn't know what I'm doing. So again, just trying to stay in that slipstream. I don't want him to break that slipstream. If he breaks that slipstream, he's going to start pulling away from me, and then it gives Captain Awful the chance to pull in on me. So using that slipstream of Rocket Man to stay out in front of Captain Awful, as well as to continue to apply pressure. As you can see, he's swinging out far to the right and having to come way back over to the left. That's hard on your tires. He's shocking those tires every time he does that. I'm trying to take smooth, clean lines. When I was practicing the Revo last night, he was like, just pounding on taking those smooth, clean lines and listening to the tires. So that's what I was doing. I was listening to the tires and just trying to be smooth on the corners and save them, because it's later in the laps when you get that payback from being smooth. Now, being smooth doesn't mean you're being slow. Being smooth means you are hitting your apexes, and the apex just isn't the edge of the curve. The apex is where you let off the brake and slam on the gas, and you're on the curve. So it can be a late apex, it can be an early apex. It just depends on where the fastest line through that corner is, but you want to be on that line, and you want to be smooth through it. You don't want to be slinging the vehicle around, sliding the back end around, whatnot like that. So as you can see, ERT getting a little loose there, that back end of that Lexus kind of slinging around, and really I kind of backed out there. I was trying to come in tight on my apex, my usual line, and he was there, but he was moving a little slow, so I had to kind of sling it outside a little further than I wanted to right there. So here, going to drop the hammer right around the 50 board and get really far on the inside to get back on that gas to try and carry as much speed as I can into the main straight here at Lago Maggiore. Coming down the straight, I'm going to drop the hammer about the 100 board because I'm in that slipstream, so I just don't want to run it in the back of them. Not necessary. I'm hanging with them good enough that I don't really need to be right up his rear end that close through those really tight corners. Get back out to the right side, cut it back in here, tight on the left. Probably could have came in a little tighter right there. As you can hear, those tires just not happy with that line that I took through there. Really kind of following Rocket Man's line through there. So heading towards what I call the Florida turn, because this looks like the peninsula there on Florida. So that's what I call it. This is the Florida turn. One of the most important corners on the course, because if you can easily screw it up for one, for the other, if you're not taking it right, people can catch up to you quickly right there, because you can carry quite a bit of speed through it, or you can approach it gingerly and not carry enough speed. As I swing pretty wide there, and you can hear the tires aching a little bit as we come through those S's, heading again for the tight banked corner on the downhill here. Love this turn again. Get on the brakes about the 50 board, bring it tight on the inside, and just get on that throttle as Rocket Man gets off to the left, gets loose, and gets sucked off into Narnia. Ah, that sucks for Rocket Man. Absolutely sucks. He was running a really good race. I look behind me here. Swerve Master Swivel and Captain Awful are right back there. Apparently Swerve Master managed to put that Porsche in front of that Vet. So again, Rocket Man falling back, making a mistake. You know, the one thing I preach in all my videos is no penalties, stay between the white lines. You got to do those two things first, and then you start adding the speed. Start adding that speed, you stay between the lines and no penalties, and you start moving up positions. And part of that is racing clean, knowing, like when I said, knowing to make those good life choices, knowing when to pull out, knowing when to stay in. I'm not an extremely aggressive driver. If someone's a lot slower in front of me, I'll be more aggressive, but when someone's about the same pace as me, such as Rocket Man, I'm looking for an opportunity, and I'm going to let it present itself more times than not. And Rocket Man giving me that opportunity. Looking back here at Swerve Master, checking out his tires. You know, post-race, he has on racing mediums, and you can see his tires look quite a bit better than mine. That Porsche really good on tires. So Swerve Master, you know, making that move past Captain Awful. Captain Awful was all over my rear end in the beginning of this race. I was pretty sure he was on softs, and that was verified later on when he pitted that he was indeed on softs. So pace of Captain Awful falling off there as Swerve Master on the mediums in the Porsche, which has good tire wear to begin with, able to make up the time. So I'm really smooth through the S's here on lap 5. Really happy with that. You know, again, you know, I'm in first place now. Swerve Master's about right in this point in the race, about 2 seconds behind me. I dropped the ball terrible on doing the video save, so I saved the replay before I saved the actual PlayStation recording of the video. I don't have an Elgato or anything like that, so I do have an Elgato, but my laptop decided to take a dump. So anyway, you're supposed to save the replay via the PlayStation before you save the Gran Turismo replay, and I did it backwards, so I only got 33 seconds of replay. So screwed that up, dropped the ball. I was so excited in my victory, I didn't know what I was doing. I was jumping around the house, giving my wife high fives. She probably thought I was crazy. Anyway, so he's about 2.5 seconds behind me right through here. I'm slowly just putting a little time on him with every corner, coming to the pits, really kind of curious to see what everyone's running. So as you can see, I come in with that medium front rear soft setup. Swerve Master comes in, he's running the mediums as well. Captain Awful was on the soft. So that told me a lot about Captain Awful. So I was like, okay, cool. So I was able to stay out in front of Captain Awful, and he was running full softs. So felt good. So looking at the mini map, here come all the folks that were behind me on lap 4 that went in and pitted. Now they've all passed Swerve Master. So, you know, that puts Galacticus back in second place. Now Galacticus is on basically 15 lap older tires because one lap is 15 laps. So I'm feeling really amazing right about now because I'm on a fresh set of softs with a light car. You got Galacticus behind me. He's actually running racing mediums, which is pretty decent strategy for him because when he came into the pits on 4, like, you know, gives him 5 laps on the mediums. So not a bad strategy, but he's not going to be able to hang with me on those fresh softs at least until the 4th lap. So super happy with that. Gumbro behind him, also on an older set of tires. And then you have Captain Awful, who's there in 4th in the Corvette on softs with, again, a intermediate pit person in between those, big swing in Texas, and then Swerve Master right behind there. So I'm sitting in a really good position. You can see Gumbro here apparently went for trying to stay out 6 laps or longer on those mediums, and actually for 6 laps it looked pretty good. But they are wearing. There's Captain Awful on his racing softs behind Galacticus there. And he's going to start to pull on Galacticus in these first couple of laps. Then behind, so then heading back to me, you can see, of course, I'm on the racing softs, and I've opened up a pretty decent gap at this point. I want to say lap 6 here, I was probably sitting at about 4.5 seconds of a lead. So you can see I'm just easing off on that throttle, getting onto that curbing, making sure I'm putting the car in the correct position on the correct line. Just, you know, like coming tight here. Not extremely fast. I mean, I could be pushing 101 to 104 right through there. Instead, I'm going about 98, 100. Again, not trying to shock the tires, just trying to, you know, stay with it. So this stays the same for the next 2 laps. I just continue to hit my apexes and continue to open that lead. You can look at the mini map. I open it up to 9.5 seconds. Not a whole lot to see but me driving around the track. So I'm going to spare you the agony. And we are just going to move it right on to a little more than halfway through lap 9. And, that's where I can bring home the bacon, or I can, pull out a bottle job. So we shall see as we head down towards my favorite corner again, and I sling it to the inside, jump back on the old gas, and right now my nerves are through. They're wrecked. My nerves are wrecked. My heart is beating. I'm like, okay, just don't screw up the last few quarters. And I'm driving this thing like a baby right now. I think I lost a second of my lead in the last section of the course. I'm just driving as gingerly as possible. But I want to drive too gingerly because you can kind of screw up when you do that too. So, I was just like, finish the race. So, come through here and head across the finish line for my first ever FIA victory. So exciting. So, again, huge thanks to Revo and DJClean for racing with me last night and helping me out. I appreciate it. I couldn't have this victory without you two guys, pushing me. And so, again, many thanks. As our pole sitter, ERT Rocket Man, gets wide and loose coming down through the stretch and crosses the finish line sideways in 7th. What a race. Of course, thoroughly enjoyed that. Got my best points ever, 1,024. So excited. So, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the win. If you did, hit like, slam that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of the future action. Again, Geauxgreddy for the channel, signing out, and there it is, victory. Y'all have a great evening.